Hi everyone, hi everyone. I want to welcome you to um, my second magical botanical watercolor series, where we will be painting this beautiful Wolfsbane or monk's hood, or the Aconitum napellus, if you want the scientific name, also known as aconite. Um, one of the, if not the most poisonous, deadly herbs out in the world right now. Anyways, I have everything set up before we get started. I have my tape down paper, 140-pound paper. I have my pan of watercolor papers. I have the various brushes that we will use. So I have a 3/4 flat wash brush. I have my number 8 long round, which is probably going to be what I use throughout most of it. I have my number 4 round, which will be used second to the number 8 round. I have my 3/8 angle shader, which we won't be using too much. And I have my number 1 script brush, which we will be using for all the script down the side. I also have a pencil, I have an eraser, I have a crappy washcloth that I'll be using to clean my brushes. I have some paper towel. I have 2 cups that we will use with our tea. So one of them is going to be so I can drink, and the other one will be what we dip our paintbrushes in. I also have my tea that I've chosen. So I have chosen to use a green mint tea, specifically because I am doing personally a prosperity spell, and we will talk more about this. I am also going to be using some honey to mix in with it as well. I just want to take a minute to talk about the teas that you chose, as well as the using honey. So every herb has an elemental correspondence, as well as it's good for specific energies. So mint and bay are really powerful for attracting and working with the energy of money, whereas rose is really powerful for love. Lemon is a very good road opener, and you can use that to clear some obstacles that you have coming up. Let's see what else. Lavender is great for calm and curing anxiety. Sage is wonderful for cleansing. So there's tons of different properties. And depending on if you want to attract, I would suggest using honey as well to sweeten your tea. Honey is often used in many bell jars, or like hoodoo and voodoo tradition, to sweeten and attract. That's my tea boiling, or my water boiling, so bear with me while stop that horrible noise from happening. But yeah, as I was saying, honey is used to sweeten and attract. It's very sticky, so it's used to strengthen relationships a lot. It's used to attract. I've said that a million times. So I am going to also mix in some honey as well. So now that I have everything set up, we have our music going. We have this beautiful piece that we are going to be painting, and we have our tea. I think we are going to begin. And I do want to mention that I am going to be doing this a little bit differently from the first time. So we are still going to charge our tea and create that herbal wash that is infused with our intention. But instead of spending a lot of time on the meditation, I want to incorporate a second tool that I use throughout my art, which is drawing sigils, creating and drawing sigils onto my paper. So I think we're going to begin with creating the sigil. So grab a sketchbook or a spare piece of paper. And I created one yesterday, but I'm going to alter it a little bit. So my intention is I will earn $1,500 throughout the month of November from my graphic design freelance. And my painting workshops. From that intention, I took 5 keywords: earn $1,500, November, freelance, and painting. And I broke those down. So earn, I want the imagery that to me represents the word earn, the keyword earn, is an arrow with a J in a circle. And the J in the circle is representative of me. I'm Julie. $1,500, I'm going to actually add the dollar symbol and then just use 1,500. November, I could have used the number 11, the letter N. I decided to go with an N in a circle, kept it real simple. Freelance, I came to this like laptop shape because that's what I do all my freelance work on. And then painting, we are going with a paintbrush. So now to put all those together, I tried out one beforehand, didn't really like it. Feel free to go through it a bit. And before I continue, I do want to mention that this is Laura Tempest Zakroff's method of creating sigils. And if you want to learn more, you can, she has a wonderful workbook that you can purchase called Sigil Witchery by Laura Tempest Zakroff. And it's wonderful. It's one of my go-tos. It has many examples. It has the workbook section where she'll have you break down symbols and what they mean for you. It's really, really amazing. And if you want to really go deeper into your sigil work, I would highly recommend purchasing this book. This was a second iteration, but I'm going to create a third iteration as well. So first is my freelance. So my freelance work combined with my painting workshops throughout the month of November will earn me $1,500. So I added the dollar symbol, and I like this. I really like this like top line because it really shows the path that's going, that is the money is going to have to flow through. So it has to come from my freelance or my watercolor workshops. It has to happen in the month of November, and the money has to come to me, $1,500. So it's a really like easy step by step. So this is going to be the symbol we use. And now that I've explained it, please take your time, pause the video, and really connect with your intention and the symbology behind your intention. If you want to go the route that I have just shown you in creating a sigil for yourself. All right, now that that is done, I'm just gonna put a little marker, page marker in there, set that aside. And we are gonna, now we're going to grab our tea. And this meditation is going to be shorter because I really want the emphasis to be on the sigil. But if you want to take the time and really connect with your intention in a meditation way, you can always pull up the first video that I sent last week and really connect with it and use the meditation in that one as well. And if you combine the two, you'll just put more of your energy and your will into this spell. So I ask you guys, once you're holding your tea, to plant both feet on the ground firmly and don't cross your legs. Now take your hands, cover your tea, and really connect with your intention. Repeat it 3 times in your head. And now that we have repeated that intention, hold it at your heart and open your crown and send your energy up through the atmosphere and into the cosmos. And open up your perineum or your root chakra and send down your energy through the floor, through the basement, through the floors below you, through the earth's crust, through all the layers until it reaches the earth's core. And connect with that energy. And now draw, in the next 3 breaths, we're going to draw the energy from both above us and below us into our heart center. We will hold our breath and push that intention into that breath. So you can repeat it or just visualize it and really push it in. And then when we exhale, we're going to push it through our arms from our palms into our herbs. So we begin, inhale from both above and below. Hold your breath. Charge your intention. And exhale into your herbs. And 2 more times. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Now I ask you to pause this video and really connect with your intention. Use your 5 senses. Visualize it, see what it looks like when you reach your intention. Listen, hear it, What's around you? What's in your environment? What's making noise? Smell it. Where are you? Are you outdoors? Are you indoors? What's the smells and the scents that it's coming to your nose while you achieve your intention? And taste it. Are you celebrating? Are you drinking, eating something? And finally, feel it. What is the environment you're in? Is it hot? Is it cold? Are you wearing something specific? What does it feel like against your skin? Take the time to really connect with your intention and push that all into your herbs. And when you're ready, you can pour water over top of your herbs and let it start seeping or steeping, sorry. Now while that's steeping, we can start drawing out our painting. So I'm going to start by drawing out the word, the scientific name on the side. Go. That's nice and straight. Okay, so now we are going to start just drawing the general shape of everything. So I'm just going to be using a series of lines and circles to just show me where my main lines are and where my flowers are. I have starting here. Up here. Little guy there. Up there. Another guy. Like that. I have this guy that goes like that. I have one that comes out in front. And then I have one that comes out to the side. Okay, so those are my, those are going to be the lines that I use for my leaves. And I just want to point out that you're going to want to draw very lightly with your pen. You don't, or pencil. You don't want a very heavy pencil line because then it's going to show through everything. Feel free to pause the video if you need to really get heavily detailed if you want to. So this one, I'm just kind of doing like basic shapes. And before we really get started on the flowers, I really want you to understand how the Wolfsbane flower looks. So it's called a monk's hood because you have the main flower area, which is right here, and that's going to be represented by my fist. And then you have this hood over top of it that comes up, kind of like this. And then from below, two little leaves or petals that come out near the bottom. But it's really important to understand that this top part is like a hood. So if you've ever seen like a snapdragon, it's along the same lines. So I'm just creating shapes that represent those. So this is the hood, and then here's going to be the main flower, and then these two lines that come out as lower petals. So I have one right there. I'm going to do a second one here. So that's the main flower, and then the hood, and then the two petals coming out. I'm going to just go move up right to this guy right here. So this is a side profile view over here. So the hood, and then the side of the petal. I'm going to go back and do these two in a second. And then I'm going to go up to this guy right here, which is again another side profile. The hood. And then I'm going this guy, which is like a 3/4 view. There's the hood. Okay, now I'm going to go do this side profile right here. I'm going to do this guy right here. These guys are behind them. I know it's a little bit different from the original, and feel free to make it more similar to the original one. There you go, that's it. I'm not doing any more drawings. So now that that is complete, and feel free again to pause it if you need more time, I am going to take out my tea, which has been steeping for a good enough time. And I'm immediately going to separate it because I actually want to drink some of this as well. I do think it's good practice to consume the tea, the magical tea that you are using, as well as use it in your painting. And just keep the two separate because sometimes you can end up dunking your paintbrush into your tea by accident, which I've done on more than I care to admit. Okay, so the first step, I'm taking my number 8 large round brush, and I'm gonna make this tea colored background color. And I'm going to create that with a combination of my burnt sienna, which is right here. I'm taking him, put him in his own little brush. And I like to scrape off the side and just kind of like get as much pigment as I can. And then I'm going to take my yellow ochre, which is down here, and combine the two until I get like a nice brown creamed coffee color that I'm really happy with. That looks about right. Now this paintbrush is loaded up with it, so I'm going to take my flat wash brush and I'm going to wet the entirety of my painting, every little bit of it. Make sure it's nice and wet, and then you can start adding the color. I personally like making the corners a lot darker than the main. So if you want to do the same, I suggest instead of like wiping, to dab, because it kind of just deposits the color there. I need to mix more color, so I'm going to do that real quickly. So again, yellow ochre mixed with burnt sienna. There we go. I already really like how this is drying. So now that this is starting to dry, we are no longer going to be using the hot tea. So now I ask you to please get a few ice cubes and turn that tea cold. We don't want to be using cold water because watercolor paper is mostly cotton, and like our clothes, hot water will set stains, and cold water will lift the stains out. Whenever you're doing laundry, if you have a stain, you always want to use cold water in order to lift that stain out, because the hot water or the heat will just it'll just make sure that stain becomes permanent. So we want to apply that same principle when we are using watercolor paints. So we are going to be using cold water. I'm going to take some drink. And I take this time to really connect with your intention and really feel it and push it into your painting. I'm going to use a blow dryer and I'm going to use a blow dryer and dry out my painting. You can let it air dry or you can use the blow dryer. Either one, it's pretty good. If you want to really infuse your intention into your painting, then I suggest that you just let it air dry and just meditate on your intention. Now I'm just going to go in one last time with the remaining of my color because I don't have very much of it left, and just kind of add some extra fun areas to give it that more stained vintage look. And then with a wet, so I'm going to wet my brush, dry it off a bit, and I'm just going to go to the edges and scrub it a bit to feather that edge so that's not so crisp. All right, so now the middle of my painting is dry, but not the edges, which is a perfect time to bust out, shoot. Okay, so I need to mix again more of this color because I just used it all without thinking, but I only need a little bit of it. Okay, so it's time to bust out that sigil with a thin brush. I'm using this number 4 round, and I'm going to make my sigil go like around here because I know that it's going to be covered up. And very lightly, just a little bit of color, I'm going to apply my sigil. I'm repeating it in my head. Now that you've applied your sigil, after you've applied it, feel free to pause if you need more time. Sit and once again connect with your intention. And again, plant your feet on the floor if they're no longer on the floor. And we're going to draw in, once again, 3 breaths. Hold your breath, charge your intention, and then push on your exhale that energy, that charged intention breath into your sigil and into your painting. So let's begin. Inhale. Hold. And exhale and push. Do that a second time. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Hold. Exhale. And if your painting's not yet dry, really connect with your intention and infuse the base of this painting with your intention. You can even inhale and exhale your breath, your life, and your intention onto your painting. Okay, now that we have our sigil, our beautiful vintage stained looking paper, and our charged teak, we can begin mixing paint colors. So we're going to need two main paint colors. You're going to need, well, we're actually going to need three main paint colors. So the first one is going to be, we are going to first put a layer, a base layer under all this tree matter. So we are going to create like a green brown color. That's going to be more brown than green, but still going to have a lot of green. So I am taking my burnt sienna. I'm going to put them in a new tray. I'm going to scrape it off and get as much of the pigment off as possible. And then I'm going to go for this like natural olive green over here. Mix them together until I get the color that I'm looking for. I'm getting closer. As I know it's a mess right now. Let me try and push it over here into the sky. Okay. That is the color that I'm looking for. And I'm going to leave this here. so that you guys can see the actual shapes of it. And I'm taking my thinnest brush. And for me, that is actually my 8 long, because you can see that it comes to this wicked sharp point right here. So I'm going to use this. But if I didn't have this, I would either use my number 4 round, or I would be using the number 1 script. I'm going to pick up my color. And I'm just going to start creating my shapes. So the first one I'm going to do is the stem. I'm going to move to the right or the left side because I'm right-handed. So if this is all wet and I try to go to the left, then I'm going to smear all my paint. Picking up more paint, I'm going to start up here. So this guy comes up like this. And Wolfsbane leaves are basically like fingers. Okay, so that one is before, it's in front of the stem. And now I'm going to move to this guy, which is behind it. Then move into this guy over here. And to get these, the like nice feathered, like the nice like angled looking strokes, I'm moving with my brush and then I'm lifting up slowly. And by lifting up, you are essentially creating like a point. I find that's the trick to creating really nice points, is to really lift up your brush. And I have a lot of practice with this. If you are new, I would suggest that you take some time and practice it yourself. Like grab a second piece of paper and just kind of practice brush strokes. Moving on to this guy right here, I'm going to make him smaller. So again, I'm lifting to a point. Last one, I'm going to move him more down. And before I continue with the other side, I'm cleaning off my brush. I'm going to dab it off, and then I'm going to scrub at this edge because I want to really create a gradient to look like it's disappearing into the paper. Create this nice vignette. All right, so now I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to work top to bottom so I don't end up bumping into anything. So the first one comes out that. Perfect. Last one. Okay, so now I'm cleaning off my brush. I'm just gonna fade. So it doesn't look so obvious. Again, doing my little fade so it disappears onto the page. And perfect. Okay, before I do any of this up top, I want to get my blocks of purple on the paper. So the first thing we have to do is actually make that purple color. So I have a purple over here, which I could use, but for those of us who don't have this extensive palette, I'm going to make a purple. So I am taking my cobalt blue, now I'm going to take my alizarin crimson, which is like a pinkish red, mix them together until I get the purple that I am looking for. There we go. So it's starting to look like this eggplant purple color, which is what we are looking for. And now that I have that color, I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start with little guys. So I'm putting big strokes of that color, but it's a little too dark. So I'm doing one side, and then with a clean wet brush, I'm kind of just letting it fill. I'm dragging over that color so that it fills in the blank. And this is a great way to get your shadows started too. So I did the top a little bit wrong. So my water or my light source is coming from this way right here. So all of my shadows are going to be on the right hand side. So I did it kind of wrong. Bear with me. I need to plug in my phone real quickly. Okay, so we're going to continue. So I have my loaded color brush and my clean wet brush. So I'm going to just on one side. And then with my clean brush, just pull it into the rest of that flower. So now moving on to the rest of them. I'm sorry. Here you go. Now you know what you're doing. So I'm moving on this side first. So this area right here, I can tell that this is all in the shade. So I'm going to specifically go in and mark those really deep colors. And then with my clean damp brush, I'm just gonna pull it into the rest of it. So now we have our base color purple, but we have some starting of some shading going on too. So I'm gonna go move on to this guy next. Pick up a little more color. Move on into this guy right here, pick up a little more color. I'm gonna move up to this guy now. Move on this guy. And more color. Grabbing more color. I'm going to go to this guy up here, so right here. And if your paint's not moving around and as much as you would like it to, I would suggest wet your brushes. And the last one I'm doing is back here. It's going to be behind all the other ones. So this one's going to be a little bit darker because it needs to be able to stand out from the background. All right, now that we have that done, I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to add the brown greenery throughout it. All right, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of greenery throughout this as well. So I'm going to add another leaf here. Here. Just little guys. Perfect. And then this guy we'll add later. So now that that's drying, we can start adding we can mix the green to go over top of all this. So that color is going to be this green right here. Put him in his own. Mixed with this more natural green. And then this blue turquoise color. And then lastly, we are going to add some what color is this again? Burnt sienna. Perfect. Now we have this nice color right here, kind of like an emerald green, except a little more subdued. And like before, I'm going to have my wet pen, my wet brush, and I'm just gonna like add sections, and then with my wet brush, pull it through the rest of the painting. I don't know about you. Personally, when I'm doing spell work, I enjoy music that is either just instrumental or in a different language, because I find that lyrics can often like pull me out of the space, the sacred space that I'm in. Whereas when it's just like a language I don't know or just instrumental, I find it just lets me pay attention more to the beat and just gives me that space to zone out, which is what we're looking for when we're doing spell art. Just that sacred space where you can, it's like meditation essentially. I'm in it right now, which is why I am struggling with my words here and there. That's a good thing though. And just always connect back to your intention. The reason behind your painting. While you're painting it, don't think about wishing it into existence, because it's already come true somewhere on this timeline. You just haven't gotten there yet. So instead of wishing for its existence, when you connect to your intention, think about it like it's already there. What does it look like when it comes true? Because the trick to manifesting is to convince yourself that it's already happened. So you just need to convince yourself that it's already there, that it's already happening. So what does it look like? When I think about that $1,500 I'm trying to manifest, I'm not thinking about like doing the work. That's just gonna happen. I'm thinking about what it looks like in my bank account when I check my bank account. I'm thinking about the feeling that's running through me as I stare at that number, that sense of accomplishment, that sense of success and of relaxation, knowing that I'll be able to cover all my bills. And that sense of accomplishment that I did it. You know, this wasn't anybody else's work. This was my work, and I did it through my own volition. And I personally love sigils because I find that I'm not an analytical person, as well as I'm neurodivergent. So my brain doesn't work in a linear way. So for me, the process of creating a sigil is very artistic and it gets me thinking outside the box, which is why I love it so much. And there's so many practical uses for it. I mean, yeah, you can put it in your paintings, but if you are making a sigil for self-love, or even to like get pregnant or something, I would draw that sigil on my body with oil or like moisturizing cream or something. Okay, so now I'm gonna go up to the top since that's dry, and I'm gonna continue the same thing up there. There's this line of thinking of like it's chaos magic rooted, where you draw a sigil and you're supposed to forget about it, and that just doesn't resonate with me at all. I think use your sigil. Don't forget about it, because when you see it, you're going to be reminding your subconscious about it every time. So I try to place it someplace. Like when you're finished this painting, place it someplace you'll see it every day. I'm probably going to put mine next to my mirror. Frame it if you want, make it sacred. I've done things like around on my windows, I've breathed that fog onto my windows, and I've drawn my pentagrams on them through that for protection. It's the same concept. You can do that with your sigils as well. Or with on your bathroom mirrors, that would work as well. I've also repainted a room and created like a protection and like happy home sigil, and I drew that underneath all of my paint and then painted over top of it. There's so many practical uses for sigils. I love using them so much. I put them on my website. I've created like them as just transparent backgrounds so that nobody knows it's there, nobody can see it, but it's there because I've put them on there. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the second coat of the flowers. So this is where it starts really, you're gonna start making them pop out. So especially, oh, that's wet right there, especially with the shadows themselves. This is where I start putting in the details. And I'm going to leave this middle part just blank, because we are going to be putting these center little petals in there, or the flower, if you will. See how that's starting to really take shape, and now you can tell that it is like a flower with like a hood on top of it. So I'm moving on to this guy over here. Moving on to this guy over here. Now, as you can see, with this guy, there's two, you can see that there's like a second flower petal behind it. We're not worrying about that right now. We're going to put that on after. For now, we are just worried about that main shape. If you're interested in the artist that we're listening to right now, just got a feeling you might be, or one of you might be, we are currently listening to Ivar, and that is spelled E-I-V-O with like an Icelandic slash through the O and then R. And the album we're listening to is Slor, S-L-O with a slash through it R, plus Bridges. Can I move on to this guy now? Moving on to this guy. Moving on to this guy now. Get more paint. Now I'm going in the main lines. So I'm going to create this circle area. bulb. The bulb will be in there. Oh, I love how this is turning out. All right, now for this back one. Perfect. I love it. Okay, so now we are going to create a color for the shading throughout the leaves. So I'm essentially just going to create the same color, and I'll put it up here instead. So taking this color, followed by this bright or natural color. And then this dark blue color right here. Followed by this color. Except we are going to go add more burnt, that's burnt sienna. This is burnt umber, which is a darker brown. There we go, burnt umber. And then we are going, we got this color right here, and then we're just going to pick up some of our black. We're going to add our black into there. I want to add a little bit of blue too, so I am going to pick up some of this dark navy blue down here. Add that in there. There we go. There, that looks good. Okay, so now we're going to start adding these shady colors, so in the back and stuff. And I'm going to make sure that this front piece is going to be colored in it, because I want this to really stand out as being in front of everything. Perfect. Okay, that's a good color. And I'm going to add these other in between. So it's like the leaf showing up on the other side. It's not quite dark enough for me, so I'm going to add some black, some more black to it. There we go, that's nicer. Okay, I'm going to do that on this side too, because we have to create these. Because it looks like we're looking at the side, so the leaf is bent in half. So, like my fingers are bent in half, you can see that there are the fingers behind the other ones. Those ones we're going to paint deeper colors so that they stand out. Now I'm going to add in some shadows. Again, I have a wet brush. So I have one loaded color and one that is wet and damp. Or I'm sorry, that is damp and clean. Making sure that there's a nice There's a nice shaded line where it would be appropriate. Going in again to shadow areas. Really make sure that the color is deeply saturated. So now we are going to take that green used in the stem and the flowers and the leaves. We are just going to create dots in the center. These are going to be representative of the seed pods inside the flower. All right, now we're going to have to let that dry. While we let that dry, we can go in and start adding the final details to the flowers themselves. So I'm going to add in some like fun veins. especially to the side profiles. Make sure that like these edges are nice and crisp. I'm also going to add this part right here. So I'm going to take this dark green, that shadow green that we created. I'm going to have it come out over here. And I'm going to grab this dark purple again. I'm going to create little tiny dots around the edges. I'm going to take that purple and then create the bells. One of the last things now is to just do the text on the side. I'm just going to add one more layer of shading to these guys over here since they're new. And then with my script brush, which is this guy, I'm going to just pick up black and start
faithful friend, where did you go?
if you don't have a lot of brush skill either, you can also just use black pen or like a Sharpie. I've done it multiple times, so if that makes you more comfortable, please go with that.
When we talked about nothing till the morning light, losing track of time. You can read my mind, my faithful friend. Where have you been? What have you done? What have you seen? Did you meet someone special? Have you settled down? While I have been running from town to town, living in my own bubble, minding my own troubles, thinking about you.
I think that's it. I think we just completed it. So what to do with it now that it's done? Like I said, put it somewhere where you'll see it every day. These are wonderful to complete on like the new moon when you want a whole new set of intentions, because like the new moon's used often to set intentions. So the new moon makes it absolutely perfect time for this. And then to, I know people who like use their paintings as like vision boards kind of thing. And so they'll create one for like the month or like the lunar cycle, or even like the, what's the word I'm looking for? Even like the season kind of thing. You could even have like a seasonal intention or even a yearly intention, and just to place this painting someplace where you're going to see it every day. So around the side, the edges of your mirrors is a perfect area. On your fridge would be another good one, since you always go to the fridge. Maybe like when you walk in the front door, is there like an area you can hang a painting there kind of thing? Or on your altar if you meditate on a daily basis, or if you have like an altar that you visit on a daily basis, that would be an awesome area for it. Yeah, apart from that, I think it's time to unveil it. So when you untape your paintings, please pull away from the edge of your paper. So pull away from it, because as you can see, I'm getting some painting peel off, especially if it's still a little wet. And if you tear it towards the painting, you risk that you risk that you're going to like peel off some of that painting. Oh, here we go. This is the complete piece. It looks awesome. This is the first one that I did. This is the last one, and I really think that this one has a lot of improvements for it. So you can do this multiple times. Your painting will always get better. I can assure you of that each time you do it. That's it for me. Thank you so much for investing in my magical practices. I had a ton of fun. I hope you did too. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via social media. You can find me on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram at jpomerloart, which is my handle. So happy painting, guys, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you relaxed and had fun. I know I did. Thank you, and until next time.